I told you, if you don't talk, you're gonna fucking get it! Oh, hi everyone! Body Count by Kevin Eastman and Simon Bisley. Cartoonist Kayfabe recently featured this in one of their videos and I looked at it a long time ago, but I figured it's worth looking at it again because it's good! Not necessarily Simon Bisley's finest work, but certainly a good example of his work. And this is one of my favourites that I like to look through now and again just because it's good. It's good. And I can steal ideas from it, and it's sort of obscure enough that if I steal ideas from it for my comics, then like people don't really notice. They might go, oh, that looks like something Simon Bisley might do, and I can secretly say it looks like that because it is something Simon Bisley did that I stole unabashedly because I'm a prick with no ideas of my own, except for that one where a Viking has guns. Some of the best parts of this are the covers. The painted covers, love that. And I love Simon Bisley's like collage stuff he does in a lot of his work. Or some. There's a bunch of stuff within various Bisley comics where there's stuff like this where it's like there's action going on but there's like collage pieces in the background and it's a bunch of stuff. So I like stuff like that where it's like almost more like a movie poster than like a comic book cover or something. But it's good. It's Bisley action, Kevin Eastman, Teenage Mutant Ninja the Turtles, specifically Raphael, and Casey Jones, and some broad with big tits, a guy with guns, action, adventure, fight scenes, gunfights, car chases, explosions, people dying. It's called Body Count. Of course there's people dying. There's lots of bodies to be counted. I got this several years ago, this book, this collected edition of the Body Counts. It's in Spanish. It was the only copy I could find at a relatively reasonable price. All the others were like, upwards of £100 or more pounds or dollars, which, for the right thing, in the right circumstances, I'll pay that much for. But for this, I wasn't feeling it. It was about 20 or so bucks, and I figured that's fair. It's Spanish. Also, like a large portion of my comic book collection, I don't fucking read them. Who reads? I don't give a shit. You can figure out the story from the pictures if they're good. In this case, you can kind of figure out the story through the pictures. That's cool. Blood, shoot. The guns are quite funny. They don't necessarily look like guns. They look like weird kiddie toy blocks or something that shoot bullets, deadly blocks of bullitude. From what I understand, Eastman being the co-creator of the TMNTs, the TMNT Turtles, and Simon Bisley wanted to create a comic which was effectively one long and, by extension, the longest comic book gunfight there ever has been, and I think they just about did that. It's not necessarily one long gunfight, but it is sort of the one group fighting another group continuously throughout the pages of the comic. And I like Bisley's just sort of mess of a style. if he tidies things up now and again, mostly in his paintings. But when it comes to stuff like this, it's just, I like how messy it is. It's part of the fun of it. It's not over the top messy. You can still see what's going on. 69. Fuck yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, you see, Marvel, DC, all that garbage, being so stringent on, their I don't know the word for it. I did know the word, but I've forgotten it. They have a certain set of rules they keep to. The standards they have. You see those standards and you think, well, I'm not up to that level, which means I can't draw comics. But then you see stuff like this and you're like, do you know what? I can draw stuff like this. I can draw, maybe not as wildly grandiose and impactful as Mr. Bisley, but I could draw some shit, man. I can make some comics. Then you get pages like this, and this is where, you know, the fun shit. I'd love to see a version of this that's like all single page, like splash panels as they call them. Just single page, all the way through. Because that's some of the best stuff, is this stuff. And there are comics out there like that, that exist, that are naught but splash panels. But a comic like this would be really cool to see like that, because of all the action packagedness going on. And you get more pages like this, which would be really fun to see. This is a good sequence, though, where he's, I don't know, jumping down into the sewers or something. I don't know. Like I say, it's in Spanish, but I'm not going to read it. I wanted the comic for the Bisley artwork, so that's why I didn't care if it was Spanish. And, you know, I know a little bit of Spanish. Vamos. I know that's let's go. Vamos. Dios, quiero estar de vuelta en Hong Kong mañana por la noche. Galgoslos. Let's go. We've got to be in Hong Kong by tomorrow night. Gargauslos. I think that's what that is. Nos vemos! Bring! The ladder falls down, crushes these guys. He's like, ¿Quién cono está ahí arriba? What the hell is that? Maybe that's what he's saying. Yeah! Raphael jumps down. Ping, 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 ping. Ping, ping, ping. Gah! Gets him and then fucking whocks him in the face. He's got his big old fucking size. That's a cool page. It looks like, as well, it looks blown up because the ink lines look a lot chunkier than they do in previous panels and pages. So I reckon that was probably drawn at like this size, or, you know, the equivalent, and then blown up to fit across 2 pages. And this is a cool fight scene between Raphael and the guy. Fight, spuck, fling, rip, quack, crump, punch, patooey, spits out a tooth. Jesus, pero de que demonios eres tú? Un ninja! Que mono odio a los ninja! That's, Jesus, what kind of demon are you? A ninja! A what? Oh God, a ninja! I think that's what he's saying there. You know, I got some Spanish for my Spanish brothers and sisters. I'm out here for you. That's cool panel. That's one of those good examples of just like really utilising blackedness, silhouettes and shadows and stuff. Because you could do that panel in minutes and go, right, that's that panel done. These are small, they'll be done quick. This is a cool pose, cool panel. Some good shit, man. I don't really care about the story. That's funny. They're being all mushy and like, I love you. No puedo resistirme a las pasiones sinceras, sobre todo si tienen un otro como los tíos. Por favor, es una cuestión de vida o muerte. Gracias, Señor Jones. Something about something. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Oh, I'm going to throw up. Oh, Dios, voy a vomitar. Oh, God, I'm going to throw up. Bunch of shit. Gunfights and shit. The disguised Raphael. All the creases and the line work. Just the hatching and the noodling that Bisley does. We love that. Which is a really cool thing Bisley does. He does crazy, wild, explosive, expansive, expressive drawings. These crazy poses and things, you know, in his fight scenes, like pow, and then he takes his time every now and again to get in a bit closer, do all this crazy line work that doesn't always make sense, all the creases in the fabric and stuff, but it's like, it doesn't need to be great and perfect. It just needs to show it's a coat or it's jeans, and you get the idea. There is something to be said for people who do, you know, more or less photorealistic representations of clothing and creases and stuff. But ultimately, you scribble enough in one place and go, these are creases on a jacket. You read it as going, yeah, it's a jacket. I don't care if it looks exactly, if all the stitchings are in the right place and the creases and the weight of the fabric and texture in comparison to the texture of the skin. It's all got to make sense. It's uninteresting. It's visually, you know, it's impressive in terms of skill and draftsmanship and such like. But it's, you know, in terms of comic book action and speed and reading through the page, it's boring to look at and probably boring to draw. He wants to spend that long. Boom! Car chases and shit. Whoa, crazy. Brap, brap. Scree. Car chase, gunfights. X-ray, X-ray cat, snap, I guess he like rips the trigger bit off of the Uzi pistol because his fat turtle finger won't fit in it, and then he goes, blasts the fuckers away, crashes through the they toss grenades out, oh, yeah, frena, yeah, crunch. Les hemos perdido de momento. Something for the moment. That's them. They're them gone for the moment. That might be what they're saying. I don't know. These pages are all blurry. They've been printed weird for some reason. I don't know. The colour in this comic is a bit meh, especially because it's like early computer colour. And so you get bits like this where they like add a glow effect or something to the neon light, and it just looks whack. I think especially in this instance because they've given it like a white glow where they should have used a green glow and a pink glow and like made more pink and green around the area, whereas that just looks kind of weak as far as the glow goes. And the colour doesn't do wonders. It's not bad in certain places, but in general, like, it doesn't do the drawing justice necessarily. There, right here, because you've got like, so he jumps in firing his guns. That's an okay pose, not one of Bisley's best. Let's be honest. I've plenty of my comics I can look through and go, this is shit. So I feel I'm within my rights to point out, you know, where I believe drawings haven't necessarily been the best the artist has ever done. Because I can say what I want. It doesn't fucking matter. Matar de ese bastardo. The lighting here is supposed to be, you know, like the backlight from the muzzle flare or whatever, and it just looks really weak. With they've just like computer coloured the lines in yellow instead of black, and that just doesn't look good. You know, an instance like that, you want to just use yellow as a colour on the jacket, and like if you did all of these in orange and red as opposed to adding like a weird orange and red tint I don't know. I'm not a colourist. That's cool, see? Just orange and yellow around on the walls and stuff to show that there's the colours of that, rather than like, you know, adding a glow to the purple. I don't know. Boom! Demonios, odio las pipas. No os preocupa. Spanish. Great, this looks like it would be so fun to draw. Like, I'd love for someone to say, Ewan, we want to make a comic that's all gunfights with turtle characters. Here's some money, make it. I'd be like, fuck yes, let's do that shit. I mean, I did that with Viking with guns, and it was pretty fun. And then I fucked myself over by hand painting the entire thing, thinking, oh, this will look cool, and it takes days and days to do fucking anything on it. Cool drawings, some fun drawings. I like bits like this, where it's like, have I gone past the? Oh no, this is a good example of Bisley's perspective, Bisley's use of perspective, which is not using perspective at all. He clearly, no grids, no horizon lines, and he goes like, okay, that's the horizon line, whatever. This is, the church is going to be here. He draws the building of the church and buildings around it. This is probably how they'd look around this, because that car is on a different perspective plane to all these buildings, and the fence doesn't necessarily line up, and the buildings in the background. He figures it all out. You know, smaller stuff far away, bigger stuff closer to you. These lines more or less match up. I'm saying that with no knowledge of how he actually creates his work. I assume he doesn't use a grid because he doesn't appear to. And I think that's better. It gives a more loose, energetic, kinetic, illustrative feeling to his work, as opposed to, you know, a Marvel or DC very stringently laid out, ruled out, you know, set square and all these devices to get your grid and then do everything, make sure the perspective... It's tiring to think about and talk about, let alone actually sit and draw it all. Like, who's got fucking time for that? When, you know, comics, you got to get them out quick. You can't be gridding all this shit out. Midnight. Brah, brah. That's a cool pose. Firing this one forward, that one to the side. The cool action pose. Guts and shit on the car. The guy. Really, really cool. Love, see, the single pages. Those splash panels are good shit, man. That's a cool spread. Gunfights, shooting, booting, yelling, faces being blown apart, different guns, the crazy ink lines on that jacket there. Blammo! And then kabloomy! Fucking Raphael and Casey Jones show up, shattering through the skylight. Yeah. Muerte que so pretty, Johnny Woo Woo. You're dead. You're gonna be dead, Johnny Woo Woo. I guess that's the guy's name. Es hora de coma plomo. I don't know what any of that means. I know muerte is dead. I know ha is ha ha ha. That's laughing. Johnny Woo Woo's the name. Es hora de coma plomo. I don't know. I'm gonna blow you up to death or some shit. Look how cool that looks, man. The angles of the legs and everything, and all the muscles, the veins, the lines, the shattered glass, all the gun and the bullets and the shit. It's really fun. That's cool. I've probably stolen all of these. I've stolen that big time. But yeah, man, it's just so fun. Fun to draw, fun to look at. These poses, guns, just guns and guns and guns. Biting a pin out of a grenade, lobbing it, and it even says lob. Chucks it, blows these people up. That's blowing the fuck apart. Boom. So good, man. He punches his hand through the guy's chest, uses him as a human shield or something, with his guns still out there, his big blocky block guns. That's really cool. I'd love that as like a print or a poster or something. Casey got shot. Oh no. Bastardo! That's bastard. Casey. Bastard. And then Bisley throws one of these into like almost every comic he does. Like the one shot of the big boobed broad in her skimpy, revealing outfit. Looking badass and hot and sexy, if that's what you're into. Cool drawings, dead people, hot chicks, big tits, guns, jackets. It's the stuff you want to see, innit? Raphael crying like a little bitch. And then a knife fight between the girl and the guy, Johnny Woo Woo, I guess is his name. And whoever that lass is. It's quite cool with being all red and orange. I would have preferred if they did it like all red and orange, like this, where it's all coloured red and orange, as opposed to just red and orange in the background and their skin colour being the same as it is. It'd be cool to see the whole few pages be like this. But I guess then they've got the contrast and they make it work. It's as if I know what I'm talking about. Barely on the fringes of the world of comic book creators. Barely got my foot in there. My big toe on my left foot is just about creeping in over the line into the door of the big comic creators union or whatever. That's cool. Look at that tree trunk of an arm with the dead and or dying or just dead Casey. Oh no, yo también te quiero. That's, but I love you, or something. Te quiero is I love you. Is one form of saying I love you, I know that. Ha muerto. He's dead. Odio las pipas. Oh, he's not dead. He's risen. Like the Christ guy, I don't know. Yeah, that's cool. Bit over the top with the hatching and stuff, but I got time for it. Love all the silly little doodles you add in. That's when you get a page done quick and you're like, I've got this space to fill in. Oh, fuck it. Just put in some shit. Whatever. Have fun with it. I don't know. Love the little guys. Little drawings of little people. Very little detail, but you get cool shapes and shit. Just enough to show what the characters are, who they are, what they're doing. Every comic, I love those. They're my favourite bit. And then it's all said and done. They're getting hot dogs and they're on their way to New York City from wherever the heck they are. I don't know. Whatevs. This is called as well a little Galeria de Extras. Gallery of Extras. That's obviously just some extra artwork. I think these purple ones are designs and or layouts by Kevin Eastman, which were then added to and or revised by the Biz, as he's known. Those covers, that one, love that. That's so cool. Because I love when you can see the inkwork and the painting, whereas this is almost just like, you know, you can see inkwork here and there, but it's almost a solid painting. Whereas this one, it's like you can see the drawing and hatching underneath the loose paint, with a bit more heavy paint on top in certain areas. The lighting there, the purple underglow, and then the light on the top, and the ink and the spray. It's really cool. Yeah, so you can see some of the layouts, which I think were done by Eastman, and then the actual ink pages. I'd love to see a full black and white version of this, actually. If I just see all the black and white ink work of this whole book without all the not so great digital colour. That's the drawing for that. That's really cool to see. And this was originally a 4-part comic book series. So I guess these are all covers for the individual issues of the comic. The fucking gnarly texture he puts into that. It's so easy to avoid that, to just paint the lumps of muscle and go, sure, that'll do. But then to get all these little bobbly bits, all these nooks and crannies, all this texture into it, almost unnecessarily, but not necessarily unnecessary. It's just, well, it's each to their own, isn't it? It's just what different artists do. Nice big bobas tetas. Tetas grande. Grande. Tetas grandas. Grande tetas. Big tits. Some nice big tits.